Pour Over Marketing. It is Saturday morning, August 2nd. You can tell it's morning by my voice right now, but that'll warm up. I've been up since 5:30. Not exactly the 5 a.m. club that I used to be in, but 5:30 a.m. club. So here we are. Today I'm shooting from the hip. I'm going to try and do more of our engagement with people, trying to answer questions. I only have a couple of topic things that I want to cover today. But otherwise, this is it. This is going to be screens off. We're going to just talk. In fact, I'm going to post it right now. If anyone would like to join me in the studio click here. Boom. There we go. I just put it in the comment section. So now if somebody wants to come on and do a split screen like we did with Serena last week, there's the invitation. Just copy and paste that in your browser. And if more than one person wants to come in, it depends on what we're doing. You might have to wait a few minutes to get in, or I might just take the screens off and let you right in. You know, that's how we're going to roll today. A topic that is at the top of my mind today, we've talked about achieving goals and hitting your dreams and things you could do for personally and for your business. In fact, I may have even covered this topic before, but I've got a bent to it we'll get back to. The number one thing that I'm noticing, so I'm noticing this in a number of different areas, and I think it's really important to cover right now at this time. In fact, I'm going to see if I have something where I can share it. Let's see. I should be able to. Something that I've noticed a lot lately is the follow-up part of what we do. I feel like I'm running into this a lot where I'm noticing people are not, God, it is not letting me into this thing. People are not following up the way they should. What I mean by this is, people do follow up, but I've had repeatedly this week, everything from marketplace selling to interviews to people that are going to be guests on shows, people that have been guests on shows. What I've noticed is when I make an inquiry, I write back and I say, hey, I need this so I can post the episode. I get radio silence. Not from everybody, but from some. We have an appointment. Just following up. Want to make sure that we're on for that. Radio silence. This has happened quite a bit. And then outside of the personal, where I feel like that's been happening, I just kind of feel like if we're going to be entrepreneurs, if we're going to achieve our dreams, we have to be present. We have to be there and responding. And I'm not admonishing anybody here. It's no particular incident that's happened. It's just something I've been thinking about this week because it's something that I've been guilty of. Somebody will write me, ask me a question. It just happened, in fact. Somebody wrote a thing about this show, and they wrote it on the Substack. I'd posted an episode on the Substack, and they wrote this really nice thing where they felt that the show, they loved the name, they loved the concept of what I was talking about, they really enjoyed everything. It wasn't a fan letter. It was like almost as if a marketer was looking at the show from the outside and wanted to tell me what I was doing right, which I love. And here I talk about always have the last word, and yet I didn't do it. I didn't follow up yet to say, "Hey, thanks a lot. Uh, really cool of you." I don't know. I did not do this yet, which I should have done immediately. Uh, this is something in general that I'm noticing. I'm noticing that people don't follow up, or they're so slow to follow up. I had somebody that I was trying to get, um, and this is really nobody in particular, and nobody, I should say, recently, even though it is kind of recent. Uh, I'm not calling anybody out. I guess that's the way to say it. But I did my end of everything. All of it's ready to go. And I write to him and I said, "Hey, all I need is blank and blank. And I can finish everything out for you," which is me doing something for them, right? And I feel like I've written to him twice now asking for it. I'm not going to chase them. Now I'm going to just put up whatever I put up, and it's not going to be what I would expect. It's not going to be what they would ultimately get if they had just followed up. And what I'm saying is, you need to be that way too. You need to follow up. We all need to be better about it. I need to be better about it. When this person wrote this nice thing about the show, I should immediately have written to them and thanked them, uh, or interacted with them. It goes back to that idea that I've talked about. This is the thing I've talked about before, which is always having the last word. This. Always have the last word. That's a t-shirt that I made, by the way. You can get it as a mug too. Let's see if I can show you. It is a mug. Because a lot of people out here seem to like the mug idea. Uh, there's the mug. Okay. So the whole idea of always have the last word is don't let opportunities pass you by. Follow up. Respond to things. People have lives just like you do. And they're hanging out there. Some of them have something that they have to do that's important, and you want to be respectful of that. Once again, I'm not admonishing anybody here. This is not a personal thing. This is you. This is your business. It's something I've been thinking about because I know there are times that I don't follow up. I don't always have the last word as quickly as I should. And I think we need to get that into our heads. Always have the last word. Somebody responds, respond back to them. And if you get in the habit of always having the last word, what does it do for you? It gets you uh, in the habit of responding quickly, which I think is key. Uh, I feel like this happens quite a bit. It's been happening a lot more recently, and it's maybe because of how everybody's feeling. Like we're all kind of. I feel like when I talk to people, they're overwhelmed. There's a lot going on in the world. They're like, "Ooh," and it's like, yeah, that's that is happening to all of us, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have this in your head to always have the last word. Chinto is here, already making jokes. My last word is K. You know what? I know that you're not joking that you might do that. That was something Chris always did. He'd do KK every time. Always made sure he had the last word, which technically, good job, Chinto. You are having the last word. The only problem is it's not substantive. So sometimes K or thumbs up is perfect. But other times, if I were to say to you, let's say I write to you and I say, "Hey, Chinto, I love I love your stuff. It's very cool. Um, let's leave it there." Writing K or thanks is great. You're having the last word, but it's an opportunity. I'm so glad you dig it. Hey, have you ever seen this? And now you have a link to something they can buy or something they can interact with. I try to do it with, I get a lot of people that write to me for coaching or podcasting things. And I try to do it with them where it's like, I'm not just trying to sell them what I do. I will respond with, here's a link to something. Here's a bit of information that might help you. Something like that. It's substantive. Think about when you're in school. I don't know how this is going to reflect for some people or connect, I should say. Because those of us that are older maybe didn't have online schooling, but younger people have to deal with online classes and online schooling. And one of the things you have to do is you have to respond. You have to have a substantive answer. If it's part of a discussion thing, you have to make sure it's like 150 words minimum, right? You don't have to do that for your responses. And yes, good morning, Chinto. Thank you for being here. You don't have to have 150 words, but sometimes K, thanks, thumbs up, those are good. But if there's a way that you can engage and have that last word. And last word, I want to be clear about this because there's a connotation to last word. You ever had a conversation with somebody and you're like, okay, conversation's done. Like, okay, thanks. Bye. Bye. See you later. Yeah. Oh, hey, one last thing. Okay. And then bye. One last thing. Okay. And it feels like it just kind of drags on. That's not what I'm talking about. Always having the last word is when somebody says something to you. This person wrote to me about the show. I need to formulate something back to them so they feel heard, so that it's timely, so that they realize somebody's engaging with them on the other end, especially now where everything seems to be a bot. You don't want to write into somebody and have it come back and be, oh, that was an auto response. Yes, certain things are going to be auto responses. You sign up for my newsletter, you're going to get an auto response. Hey, thanks so much for signing up for my newsletter. Did you really mean to do this? Yes, great. And then they get the newsletters, right? But on a social media post or an email, now if it's, I'm the prince of whatever and I'm looking for money, you don't have to respond to that. You can just block that. But if it's somebody who writes to you that is trying to reach you or is saying something complimenting you or even being negative, I've had that. Oh, your thing sounded terrible. Okay. I can go, screw you, dude. Or I can write back and say, I appreciate the input. I listened and you're right. This one sounds bad. I'm going to go try and fix it. Or what just happened to me. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know where my settings went funny, but it switched to my camera microphone from my regular microphone. And I was unaware. I decided that the content was good enough to put out. But yeah, the sound is not great. So sorry. Watch for better sound in the future or listen for better sound in the future. Let's see what this says. I'm socially awkward and getting positive comments makes me feel weird, and I need to retreat quickly. I really get why Batman left Gordon half sentence. Right. You know what, Gito, you might think this is, I don't know what you think of me, but I am the same way. I don't, when somebody compliments you, you should respond to it. It's respectful. But I feel the same way. Um, I get very uncomfortable. It's why when I was an actor, I didn't like doing stage stuff because after you do a stage thing, everybody comes up and not everybody, but people are complimentary and they're like, oh, you were great. Oh, I had so much fun. Hey, I love this. And I am so frigging awkward about it because to me, acting was my job and art. I was creating something and getting a response, good or bad, feels very awkward to me. But this Rob would tell past Rob, always have that last word. It can be, thanks so much, or I am so glad you enjoyed it. Hey, you know what? I'm going to be in another thing coming up. Come see me in this. It's going to be really good. Or I have a podcast. You want to check it out? I have a Substack. Why don't you check it out? Hey, what's your thing? Share it on here so other people can find it. That's a good one. I'm adding value in all sorts of ways to them, but always have that last word. Now, this can go on, if you're not careful, in perpetuity. Here's my resource. Then they write back. They have their resource. Then you write back. Okay. If it's going on too long, you know it's going on too long. But if it's 2 or 3 responses back and forth, keep it going. Keep it going. You don't have to be Chinto Man and disappear half sentence. But I do get it, Chinto. When we used to do Live at the Blue Box, I found it very difficult. The end of the show would happen, and two emotions would come up. One is, please God, nobody come up and talk to me about what they saw, like that it was like compliment, because it's very awkward. I hope that they loved it. I hope they had a great time. That's all I want. And if they come up and say, I had a great time, thank you so much. Good, easy, right? But then I also had the other emotion of, if they don't say anything, oh, they must have hated it, or my self-esteem would go down, which is why in live situations, I have a difficult time. Online, I've trained myself to always have that last word, so that, and I've trained myself, but I'm still screwing it up. Okay. But we're entrepreneurs. We have our own businesses. Let's keep that in mind. That engagement is what separates you. It used to be that you wanted to name your business with an A, like AAA glass cleaner, because in the phone book, remember the phone book? It would put you at the top. So if somebody looked up glass cleaner, the first one would be AAA glass cleaner. Okay. Kind of like SEO works in search engines. Although alphabet doesn't matter at all there. Then it's something completely different. Different algorithms in that. But now you're an entrepreneur. Your greatest tool is engagement. I couldn't care less what you call it. You want engagement. You want to get people in conversation. You want to respond to them so that they feel heard, so they want to keep coming back. Like I said, this is not an admonishment of anybody. This is just something I've been noticing personally, and watching other people and watching myself, going, I got to be better about it. I got to be better about the follow-up. I've added a thing. I mean, it took us 14 years, but I added a thing that is now fixed. I would interview somebody, and a lot of times I would send them links and say, like, oh, thanks for being on. But I never had a formal follow-up letter. This month, I created a follow-up letter that I like, and it has links to all of our stuff. It has the show's links with some of my personal. It has links to all the Southgate Media Group stuff at the bottom, but at the top, it has a nice thank you. It has a, hey, here's what we're doing. It has links that they can copy and paste that look good. They can just use them. It has hashtags. So if you're on Facebook and you're only supposed to use like 3 hashtags, pick 3 out of these. Usually it's the first 3. That's why I design it that way. Because usually people just go, take the first 3. And then I put the artwork for the show. So they can use it and they can do whatever they want with any of this stuff. Hopefully they promote the hell out of what we're doing. But I do a show, I do an interview. There is the always have the last word. I followed up. I gave you value. Now, if they write back to me and say, thanks, cool. I can choose what to do at that point, but I am going to respond. If the next one is just a thanks, then conversation's over. We're good. We're good. I just keep them around until the next time I need them, or next time they have something where they need me. Once again, following up, adding value, being substantive, these are critical. critical. And I'm putting an ad up again. Look at that. Go to T Public. Go to Southgate Media Group. Go to copy the clipboard. I'm going to put this in the clipboard. If I can make this thing work. Doesn't want to work. Okay. Let's go back to this. I don't know why it's asking me if I want to post to specific destinations. There we go. There's the T Public shop with the mug for always have the last word. Who knows? I had people all excited about the Mug of Destiny this week. Always have the last word. And they're nice mugs. You can get this one there too. I love indie podcasts. I do. I love indie podcasts. There's a good example. So I've got a friend that has a very successful podcast, and we text back and forth. We write back and forth. We text back and forth. And I've noticed this about him. If I text him, he responds. I respond. He responds. Not just as friends, but sometimes it's business related, but he always has that last word. Now, I know him well enough that I know that he has not done this consciously, because when I said it to him the one time, he went, "Ooh." I said, "Oh, you're doing always have the last word." No idea. He told me, he said, I was raised that way, that if somebody says something, you should respond to them. It's polite. Well, yeah, shouldn't we be polite? We're businesses. We're entrepreneurs. We should be respectful of people's time, be thankful for their response, try to engage. So there we go. Lesson hopefully learned for me, for you, for everybody. We've changed the world. Let's see what, Chinto, you had more to say. Looks like it's you and I today, Chinto. Yeah, we're in an age of parasocial relationships. Media is changing people consume podcasts or live streams more because they feel a part of the community. That has been 100% true of this show. That is the compliment I keep getting about this show, is they like that I put these things up along the bottom, that I talk to you. They love that feeling of community. There are people in here that are starting to recognize each other. I hope that they are making connections. I don't think legacy media gets it. They do not. For writers and authors, being approachable by fans is a double-edged sword. You get fans feeling like they are part of the process, but risk ending in a misery situation. Well, I would say that's a little extreme, Ginto. I mean, you do. Just by putting anything out there, you do. But once again, if you go with the idea of the always have a last word, and you are careful about what you're sharing, you shouldn't end up in that situation. There are easy ways to shut things down too. Like I feel like I've had a couple of people that wrote in that the way they worded it made me go, they're desperate for me to be their friend. So I make what I say back not overly friendly, not negative, but like I make it more, we'll say, clinical, where it's like, oh, hey, you should check out our other podcast. Here's a link. And that's the response. So I am having the last word. I am giving them something that I think they're going to really enjoy, but I'm not saying like, oh, hey, how's your day? My day is this. My daughter is doing this. I'm not doing any of that. That helps cut down on the misery of it all. Awful. Okay. We've covered that. What questions do you guys have? Today's going to be a slow one because I up until 7:30 today wasn't sure I was going to do the show. It's just been a lot lately. I've been getting overwhelmed with all the stuff. Especially Molly's going to be going to school soon, and there's just a million moving pieces to all of this. And this morning I woke up and I was like, I had not made a thing for this, an event. Uh, I woke up and went, I just want to sit and watch The Penguin, which I did. First episode of The Penguin. Oh my God, is that show good? Uh, so I watched that, and then I was sitting there and I went, wait a minute. I make a promise to be here each week. I should be here. So here we are. And I had been yesterday, I was thinking about the show, and I was really thinking about this idea of the follow-up thing and how it's like kind of uncomfortable, but we should address it because once again, you're a business. People engaging with you and commenting and that is the life's blood. It is. We live in that world. And like you said, Ginto, it is a parasocial relationship now where people feel that this connection is the whole thing. It's real. Heck, we all feel that way. You listen to somebody enough. That's why I always say podcasting is the most intimate. Actually, I'm going to rephrase that. Podcasting is the most intimate in that it's in your ear. It's a voice talking to you. And if you listen enough, you really do start to feel like it's your friend, like you know them, right? But I actually think this might be the most intimate because here I am talking, chatting, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at you. You write me something, I'm responding to you. It is good, Chinto. That's pretty intimate. You have direct access. You can ask a question and we're in. This is why, I always do talk about how I think any business should have a podcast. I really do. But if we go one step further, I think in the mix of things, I could almost ditch the regular social media and say, I mean, you need it, but you could almost ditch it and go with a different plan of having a Substack, doing Substack lives, having it pushed to your YouTube channel. Take this, make it so that when you're doing it live, you have interaction. And then taking the audio off of it, maybe editing it down, maybe not, and putting it out as an audio podcast. Now you have video, audio, you are engaging in this way. And you know what? If you tag things properly, you might make it. You might make it through without having to do a lot of social media. There's Chelsea. I'm here. I'm just making breakfast for my daughter, so I can't comment very much at the moment. I'm so happy you're here, Chelsea. I hope what I'm saying is ringing true. Like I said, it's a sensitive thing talking about this follow-up thing because it can sound like sour grapes, like somebody didn't follow up with me and now I'm upset. It's not that at all. It's more, I was just thinking about what one of the elements to what we do is, and I think that's something that's very important because I have been noticing so many people not really following up. It might be a social media thing. Maybe it's because we put so much out there on our Facebook page or our threads or our Blue Sky. You put the thing out there and you look to see if people put hearts on it and you hope people engage, but they may or may not. And then once they do, it's a closed deal for you. But that's not really the best way to grow, to create raving fans. We talked about Ken Blanchard and raving fans last week. There's a book everybody should get. It's really good. Puts those ideas in your head. Oh, coffee's good today. Coffee's good every day, right? So, questions? Anything? I see nothing over here. I'd love to know what you're making your daughter for breakfast because that's the best thing. Breakfast is my favorite meal. I mean, until lunch, and then that's my favorite meal. You can tell I haven't eaten yet today. So, another topic. Getting off that one, let's get on to something different. Once again, any questions or anything, I would love to field that and talk about that. And I did put up at the top a link. I'll do it again. See if I can edit it. Nope. But there you go. If you scroll up, you can click that link and you can join me live on the show, just like Serena did last week. The screens are off. So if you want to come on and talk about something, let's do it. Just go up there, copy and paste that in your browser. You'll pop up in my thing that says present or invite, and we'll do a split screen. Think that'd be cool. Okay, back down to this. All right. Chelsea, she's got her breakfast. Yes. And Bruce is here. Oh boy. So Bruce, your dream could come true. You follow that link. The dream is real. Let's see. Okay, Chito. Okay, I'll go into marketing. Time is clicking. September 15th is closing by. I have set up my calendar. I have 8 children's book written and now working on the art. Love it. Have behind the scenes pictures, and I'm now anxious to release some of the stuff, but I feel that making teasers would add to my workload. Okay. Great thought, question, whatever. First of all, you're right. It will add to your workload. Here's what I'm going to highly recommend to you, Chinto. Those teasers actually, I think, are kind of vital to what you're doing. As somebody who's done this a lot, where I put things out, I create something, I get all the plans around it, I put it out, and then you have to move it to the next thing. Or you go, okay, I can push the thing I'm working on. When we put our book out, and then did this marketing, and it really didn't amount to very much. But teasers would have been a much better way to build that interest. I had a friend that had a really successful podcast. It was about the blacklist. My friend Troy. We were talking about it one time, and he said where it turned a corner for him, he was doing the same things we were doing, right? And then he started adding to his workload, doing these teasers where they made a plan. Okay, Monday we'll put a teaser out. Next episode happens whenever. Wednesday they'll put out a different teaser that maybe had a quote from the episode that was coming. Thursday teaser, so that leading up to it, and then they would live tweet during the show. So they would do these teasers about the episode, drop the episode, and then the next thing they would do is tease that they were doing a live thing, and then go back into the same cycle. What I would suggest doing, Chinto, is all the stuff you've got, keep it there, but give it a rest for one day. Tomorrow is Sunday. I know you've got family and things to do, but carve out 2 hours and only make teasers for 2 hours. You are creating content that you can use. I've seen this happen a million times. I have personally done this a million times. Where a million, I'm overstating. I've probably done it at least 1,000 times. Where I carved the time out. I only had time to make, say, 3 teasers or 3 promotional items, but I'm like, okay, these are good. I'll do more next week, and then I don't get back to it because of life, right? But I now have 3 pieces of content that I can use, that I use repeatedly, and it works. Chinto, take 2 hours. Give yourself a break. 2 hours. All I'm doing is teasers for 2 hours. It's not going to set you back from your deadline, but it is going to bear fruit for you later because you now have marketing material that is teasers, and teasers really work. Talk about like Kickstarters, okay? When you have a Kickstarter, I see a lot of people start a Kickstarter. They're like, I'm so excited. I want it to start tomorrow. Whoosh. Okay, great. Who won the race? The one who did it 30 days in advance or 60 days in advance started teasing there was a Kickstarter coming. Maybe they did some interviews, or they just made social media things and they were only the teasers. Yeah, you've got all this other work to do, but they go, I'm taking 2 hours. This is what I recommend to people. Take 2 hours and do that. Let's go back to the other idea that I have talked about a lot, that I'm going to keep talking about, which is, what are 5 things you can do to move the ball for you today? Or in this case, I'm suggesting tomorrow too. one of those things, and you said it in your what you said, because you're obviously thinking about it. You know that one of the 5 things should be have some teasers because they're going to work for you. Okay? So there's one of your 5 things. That leaves 4 other things that are all the other stuff you need to do. But give yourself a 2-hour window. Okay, wait, let's see. Lots of people are writing. I don't want to add to your workload, Chinto, but I am because we need to do that. How much time do you think you should spend weekly creating content if you want to be sure to post 3 times a day? Depends on how fast you are at the content and what you're doing. If you're doing video content, uh, I'll tell you my time, what it was. Right now, I'm in the middle of doing 100 things, so I'm not getting my content done the same way. But I used to say I had all these shows I had to edit, and I had all this promotional stuff and managing people and blah blah blah. And what I would do is I'd go, I know I need to have some teasers. I know I need to have some memes. I had to create some memes and things. And I'd say, okay, first I have my content calendar and give myself an idea. Like, here are 3 things this week I want to post. And I would figure out what are those specific 3 things, right? And then Sunday morning, I would give myself until noon. And I'd say, I'm gonna wake up, gonna have some coffee, gonna watch some TV, maybe take a few notes. Okay. And then I would sit down, and whatever amount of time that took, if it was 3 hours, if it was 2 hours, whatever it really took, 2 hours on a Sunday should give you more than enough to create 3 really cool pieces of content for the week. You could probably do it in an hour. You want an even better piece of advice? Give yourself 3 hours tomorrow, but have a plot. You've got 3 times, you want to do something 3 times a day. Oh boy, that's a lot. Are you doing 7 days a week? That's 15 pieces that you have to create. Look at how complicated they are. If they are full video production, those are going to take a while. I would say if you're doing 15 pieces, 3 hours a week would be more than enough. I would say you could actually technically, when you get into a rhythm, you could do Sunday morning, I'm getting up, and hey, everybody, other than breakfast, we don't talk. I got Sunday morning until noon. And you could probably do your entire month on one Sunday morning a month, 15 pieces a day for a month. It really depends on you and what the content type is. You give me another example. I was doing a thing with a couple of our shows where I did have to create memes, and I had to do a little bit of research on. One of them was for like fears, and I had to figure out how to make a fear meme. And then I had to share content where I had to find other articles. That took the longest, finding other articles and sharing that. But what I did was I would figure out exactly what it is, figure out a framework for it, and then I would say, I know I need X amount of this type of thing over the course of the next 2 months. I wouldn't go further than 2 months. And I would just sit there and do it. And it would take, once you did the first one, after that, it would take me about an hour to do 2 months worth of that one type. What I found was 3 times a day wasn't necessary because I could re-share things I was doing, or I could make alterations to what I created, and that gave me the extra content to get me there. It wasn't 15 original pieces every single week. It was what fills the 15 slots, and how can I stack it? If I have to keep going back in and creating a fears thing every week, it took longer than if I did 2 months worth of them in one sitting. Okay. Bruce, looking forward to it. Bruce, I need money. Okay. Gordon, I'm finally getting back to the marketing groove. I'm revamping some older, unpublished, out of print stories for Patreon. Love it. Started a monthly newsletter via Patreon. Love it. And I've started writing. Very good, Gordon. You should really be looking at a Substack as well. And you can share. You just have to figure out where your lines are. If you want to put it on Patreon where it's something paid, put a time limit and say, okay, I can put teasers on Substack, or I can create something else for Substack that pushes people to my Patreon, that teases people, that chums the water to get people over there. Substack also, if what you have is behind a paywall, then you can say the same thing. It publishes on Patreon first, and then publish it a month or whatever later on Substack, and put on there, if you want this a month before everybody else sees it, subscribe to my Patreon. Or they can do a paywall on Substack as well, and you can use the same material. So they can pay you on Substack or they can pay you on Patreon for the same thing. If you want them to do both, you have to create original content both places. It all depends on what you're doing for your paywall. And if it's all free, put it on both. Substack is a really good growth platform. And you can advertise your Patreon on there. And then create some content that is behind a paywall on Patreon, and you're in great shape. Okay. Bruce, I need times and dates when you did the teasers 1,000 times. I have no idea, Bruce. It's Rob's Let's Talk with My Hands hour. I can't help it. I'm all charged up on coffee. I've been up since 7:30 drinking coffee. You try to talk without using your hands. Okay. I've started working off an editorial content calendar specific to my writing. I love that. That helps me figure out when I need to post, but also what I am posting or reposting. Excellent. You know what? You just said something in there that I think is key as well. When people are making these calendars, figure out what you're reposting. I have a thing where when I would do like with the podcast, like with Inkblots. Okay, so Inkblots has put out a lot of episodes to get the show kicked off. A lot of episodes. I'm at like 21 or something in a month. Way too much. But it kicked off we have a whole season done of the show, and they're all posted. Now I can go back and I can start really promoting the different episodes because, frankly, it didn't engage. A lot of people didn't see it. They don't care if it was put out yesterday or 2 months from ago. It's new to them. So now I can go back and I can start resharing content, creating new content around that old content, at the same time making the new. So in my calendar, it actually has one day is new podcast, one is repost X episode, and I have those all mapped out. So it's really good to have what you're posting, what you're reposting. And also, reposting has another connotation. You might be posting old stuff, but you could also add to your calendar, Chelsea. You've got 3 things a day. You could take one of those 3 things and do a repost of somebody else's stuff, as long as it pertains to what you're doing. Do a stitch, do a repost. In fact, if you're doing that, I would go a little more than 3 times a day. If you're doing reposting as part of your thing, maybe make 2 original posts and have 3 reposts a day of other people's content that your audience would be into, and start tagging things and sharing things and liking things, and you will grow your audience. Just a heads up, it's better to have consistency over a ton of content. Agreed. Burnout or life can break the 3+ a day. Exactly. But if you do what I just said, I mean, I was doing it for multiple shows. So no big deal once you get in the rhythm. The first week, it's torture. A month into it, you might be thinking, well, yeah, after a month, 30 days is what it takes to become a habit. At the end of a month, you'll have systems in place. You'll have ideas on how to do it. As long as you're staying consistent with that, it doesn't matter if it's 3 times a day. You stay consistent and you will not have the burnout that you would if you're trying to fly by the seat of your pants. That's where it's a problem. But Chito, you're right on the money. Just a heads up, it's better to have consistency over a lot of content. Gary Vaynerchuk did a thing where he was saying you could take one piece of content and break it into 100 pieces of content. He's like, why are people working so hard? Do a podcast and break that into 100 different pieces of content, and now you've got all this that you can just bomb. I forget what he called it. Social media tsunami or something. He's like, you just bomb it out every week. 100 pieces of content across everything. Well, first of all, too much. Too much. Your audience doesn't want that much. Second of all, I can't sit in that interview to create 100 pieces of content out of it because you're not moving forward. But I can create 5 pieces of content out of it and reshare them and then come back to them. That's another thing I do is I will go back. You'll see this in some of my stuff where I go back and I'll say, Throwback Thursday. And I'll do an episode of something from a long time ago. I'm doing it right now with Southgate Media Group stuff because we have so much content. And we want to try to do something with that content. So as I've been upgrading the show notes and the artwork, I've got this plan. I've done a little bit of it, but you're starting to see it. If you go to Patreon, you'll start seeing we're doing this, putting the new shows in and then doing the old shows. They've been revamped a little bit, new artwork, but it's the same show. It took me, I did all the artwork for one show. I did a whole season's worth of artwork. It took me about an hour and a half. All new artwork. Changed some things, optimized what it said a little bit. It was an hour and a half of work for an entire show. All the seasons. And now I can share them again as if they're new. It's not a bad thing. I think I should wear a tie moving forward. Thoughts? Bruce, you are full of comedy today. Here's my thoughts on it. For what? What are you trying to do? Sitting around the house? Who are you trying to impress? Susan knows everything. So wearing a tie is not going to change Susan's mind. If you're talking from a business standpoint, like a sales standpoint, depends on the image you're trying to project. We've talked about this before. You thought I wasn't going to really answer this. I have started wearing shirts that look a little bit better on my show. I try to look at what I've got in my wardrobe. I'm trying to change it up. We went to Savers. I bought more shirts. I'm trying to make it look more professional on here without being tie and stuffy and not being, hey, I just threw something on. Originally, the show was, hey, I just threw something on. T-shirt, robe, whatever. But now I'm trying to elevate it a little bit by having nicer looking shirts on every time I do the show. And different shirts. So that it's not the same thing over and over, right? Should you wear a tie? Yeah. If that's part of the image you want to project. Paul Feig, the director, follow his Instagram. He's the one that did Bridesmaids. He did the female-led Ghostbusters, right? Now, most directors, they wear, look at when you see them, they're wearing a shirt like this. They just look casual. They're not on camera. He wears like a tailored suit, tie, really nice, like colors and that to everything. When he directs, he's wearing these. He has said, I want to feel as good as possible when I'm doing these things. I want to project an image and feel as good as possible. So this is what I wear. This is what I wear to work. This is what I wear outside of work. Guess what? It works. I won't just wear a shirt with stains, or at least stains you can see. You never know what's going on back here. Bow tie and fez hat. I'm familiar with that look. In fact, I believe that happened a few times at a little place called the Blue Box Cafe a few times, I believe. Gordon, I think you've shown up in bow tie and fez hat. No stains. Okay, there we go. So there we go. Ooh, we've had some good questions. What else? Bruce, you didn't know I was going to answer that whole question. So content actually ties into what I said at the beginning when we were talking about following up and having that last word. Once again, always have the last word available at the Southgate Media Group TeePublic shop. See, it says it up there. Southgate Media Group, sold by Southgate Media Group, one word. You get a mug, you get a shirt. You can get it all. Actually, I can show you the shirt too, as long as we're doing it. There's a bag. There's all sorts of stuff. I don't know if I can pull it up that fast because it just kicked me out. Ooh, there's a sticker too. There we go. There's the shirt. And there's a cool sticker. I like it. And this is my favorite. Love the hat. See, go in now. You get 20% off. Spin to win. Actually, I love the hat in the black. I think that is super cool. I don't think that's super cool. I would stay away from red hats. I don't like that. Black one, super cool. Okay, back to it. So this content stuff does add to it. What if you went back to that original daisy wheel of posting that I had created, and Chelsea, I don't know if you've ever seen that. I know I've mentioned it, but I don't know if you've ever seen it. But the daisy wheel is types of content. Where to post, you make a wheel. Where to post, when to post, types of content, and then you start filling in the blanks of what that is. So for types of content, there's two different types. Scratch that, reverse it. There's two different categories of types. There is the type, which is things like engagement, entertainment, repost, things like that. Okay. You figure out maybe 5 of those. Then the other type, the other category is meme, poll, video, short, like things like that. So now you have options. You can say, I know I need to create, I've got 15 pieces of content I'm going to create this week. Right off the top, I know I'm going to use 4 of them. Let's go with 3 of them to be reposts, okay, of my stuff. Great. Now we have 12 pieces of content that we have to create. We go, okay, out of those 12, here are the different categories. And I need to make sure I do 2 engagement type, 2 of this, 2 of that, 2 of that. Okay, great. Then you look at those buckets and you say, which ones do I want to create video for? Which ones are memes? Entertainment, probably both video and meme. Education, maybe I repost a blog post. I write a blog post. There's a piece of content. I repost a segment of it. Maybe I make a meme out of something I say in that segment. Video, just plain audio doesn't necessarily work, but it can. It can if you pair it with either video or stagnant image. It can actually work really well. I'll give you an example. I could take this where I say, always have the last word. Make sure that when somebody makes a comment, you are engaging in a substantive way. Okay, we take that, clip it out. I now have video of me saying it. We can use that piece of content. We can also take the audio, strip it off of that, go to CapCut, use a stagnant image of something, maybe books falling. Okay, so it's some kind of motion to the background. There's something going on. And then we have, but in the background, or maybe it's a stagnant image. We take that and we make an image out of that sign, that piece of art behind me. And then we have, I know you've seen this on like TikTok where the words come across. So we upload the audio and we let it translate it into words. And it says exactly what I just said. Piece of content. How long would it take you to make that? Minutes. The first time, it might take you a little bit. The second time, you will crush it. Oh, Bruce, got to go. I'm going to Door County for the day. Oh, Door County is great. Have so much fun, Bruce. We love Door County. You're going to Al Johnson's, going to have some really thin pancakes and have goats up on the roof laugh at you. Do it if you haven't. Door County is great. There's some great coffee there too. All right. Enough about Door County. So yeah, it ties back to the always have the last word, though. Now that you've created all this content, make sure that you're going in, even if it's at the end of the day, going in and responding somehow and make it substantive. Because if I put that little meme out and I did that and I had it created, okay, it's educational and it's video and it's audio and it's a meme where it just says the words, that gave me content, right? Do I have to do it all in the same week? No. I can put that out and then schedule it out to be a different format 2 weeks from now or a month from now. So they keep getting hit with this idea in different ways. People see things at different times in different places. See what they engage with. If you put a stagnant meme on Instagram stories and you get all these likes, you put the same one on Facebook and it gets 0, then you know maybe the stagnant meme on Facebook doesn't work. Now, one time doesn't give you enough data. You got to try it a few times. Gordon, it was great that you were here. Thank you for coming. See you at the next one. Yeah, I'll be here for sure next Saturday. And then the one after that, I believe, is another pour over marketing on the road, another road trip, because we'll be in New York or New Jersey. I'm not sure where I'll be recording from, probably Jersey. I might even do a live like we did in Paris when Molly and I went and sat on the street and I did a live update. Probably going to do that in New York. Maybe I'll do more than one of those. So stay tuned. I don't know why I touched my nose there. Probably because I got an itch and I realized it as I was doing it. Okay. Gordon, thanks for coming. That's going to do it. I'm going to show you one more thing because I made this last week and I need you to think about it. Are you stuck? Do you want to get unstuck? What are 5 things you can do today to move you from stuck to unstuck? If they're small, they're small. Okay? It's all valid. When we did Broken to Brave, it was Maeve wanted to do 50 brave things when she turned 50. Okay? And what are 50 brave things to you might be very different than 50 brave things to her or to your kid or to your neighbor. So for her, one of the brave things was I picked up the phone. She hates picking up the phone. To her, it was very brave to pick up the phone. Okay? That's a brave thing. That could be one of her 5 things. To you, you go, that doesn't need to be one of my 5 things. That's not a brave thing. Great. What are 5 things you can do for your business that moves the needle forward this week between now and the next time we meet? I know we get excited. We think, well, we can do 5 a day. Okay. There are 5 small things you could do a day. Some of these things might take you 3 or 4 days to do. Some of them you might not be able to do in a week. But if you clearly know 5 things, you're going to move that needle. What are 5 things you can do today? The 6th thing is the first thing you're going to do, which is make a list of 5 things that you can do. Do that and then start working on them. And the next time we meet, hopefully people talk about it and we can start cheering each other on and giving encouragement and maybe helping, giving ideas. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to Pour Over. Next week, we'll be back. I keep having trouble with Thursdays to do my my nighttime one. That might not get to start until September, that we start doing happy hour more regularly. We'll see. Got a lot going on right now. But have a great week, everybody. Respond to things. Be timely. It's going to make a big difference for you. Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.